Yugi's legendary decks being reprinted on the 27th of May. This gives us some of the most iconic cards used in the anime, but what card from this set leads to the strongest and most competitive deck? This is going to be the start of a mini-series around Yugi's legendary decks. Looking at the card list, I divided the cards into 9 main archetypes. These archetypes are Exodia, the God cards, Gadgets, Blackluster Soldier, Buster Blader, Dark Magician, Magnet Warriors, Silent Magician and Swordsman, and Guy the Fierce Knight. The challenge is to build the most competitive deck for each of these archetypes to see which archetype comes out on top.
It's time to duel!
So guys, this is our final episode of our mini-series. It's been happening for about 2 months now. Obviously Yugi's legendary decks came out maybe a month ago now. And of course, we're leaving the best till last. We're leaving the Dark Magician deck as the last deck that we're going to cover. This is a deck that we've not seen before. There's some synergy here, but I'll let you guys see for yourselves. But we're going to kick into the card by card now. So, we're playing 3 Dark Magician, of course. 1 Red Eyes Black Dragon. No idea why that's in there. It's a Dark Magician deck. Then we're playing 2 Apprentice Illusion Magician. Obviously just the free special summon, but also you can add a Dark Magician to your hand, so it's really good for Eternal Soul. Blade Oracle Mahad. Dark Magician deck don't often play this card, but I really enjoy the card, especially when it's paired with Soul Servant. It's one of my favourite cards because you can just special summon it for free and it's level 7. You can go into like your E-Bonds and your Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragons. So we're playing that, and also it's good to get into your Dragoon Turbo. We're playing 2 Magician's Rod. Obviously we can add a spell and trap, so we can usually go for Eternal Soul or Dark Magical Circle. So this card's your starter card really. And then obviously 3 Magician Souls. Cards are really expensive, but it's so good. I've seen a lot in pen decks as well. But being able to special summon itself, or being able to special summon a Dark Magician is really, really cool. Being able to load up your graveyard for Eternal Soul, really cool. And here we go, the accompaniment of Dark Magician in this deck that's not been done before. We're playing Amazement. This is obviously pre-Dawn of Majesty, because I know we're getting a new trap and then a new monster. But we're playing it without that, so we're playing 3 Arlecchino. Really cool card, has some great interactions, being able to give your opponent equip your opponent's monster with an attraction trap, and also it's got the built-in destruction effect as well on your turns, which is really cool. And then we're playing 3 Comica. This allows you to set a attraction trap directly from the deck. It's really cool, and it's got a quick effect where you can change the control of one of the traps to another monster. So that's really cool if you've equipped it to you can equip it to your opponents. Like with Horror House, you can equip Horror House to your opponent's card and flip it face down. Instead it's like a Book of Moon. Really cool. Of course, 1 Red Eyes Fusion. I didn't want to play 3, I didn't want to brick on it. We're playing 1. And obviously we know why that's here. 2 Soul Servant, great card. It gets searched off Dark Magical Circle, Magician's Rod, and it's a really cool card to be able to draw into my hat. We're playing 1 Secrets of Dark Magic. I really enjoy the card, and also we're playing, since playing Dark Magicians in the extra deck and playing Dragoon, it can come up often if we draw Garnets and bricks like Red Eyes Black Dragon and Dark Magician in our hand. We can use this to get into Dragoon without getting into Anaconda. Playing 2 Time Ticket just gets our Amazement card, or on our opponent's turn sets an attraction trap from our decks. It's a really cool card, quick play as well, so really easy. 3 Dark Magical Circle, obviously your standard Dark Magician deck. 2 Amazement Family Faces. This is a card that allows you to take control of one of your opponent's monsters that are equipped with an attraction trap. The strongest trap card in the deck. We're playing 2 Rapid Racing. This is the weakest trap of the deck. I know in the new Dawn of Majesty there's a Viking ship as well, which I think is a little bit stronger. But this is literally just a name of an attraction trap that we can search for and we can equip monsters to, because we want to take control of it with Family Faces. This is Cyclo Coaster. 2 of those. Allows you to, you're going to use the second effect where you add an Amazement card to your hand, because we don't want our Arlecchino all the time, but it's a cool card. This is probably the second most powerful one. Obviously the third, we're playing Horror House. You can negate the effect if you target, you can negate the opponent's monster effect if you equip it to your monster, and if you equip it to your opponent's monster you can flip it face down. So this is the strongest card, this is the card that you want to see the most. 2 Punishment, of course. Trap deck, why wouldn't we play a Punishment? We could play Ecclesia in the deck, but I didn't want to. It seems odd playing Punishment without Ecclesia, but I like the idea of it. 2 Eternal Soul, of course, and 1 Skill Drain, which is it's just an absolute powerhouse in this format. And so we move on to the extra deck. Obviously the 2 Dragoon. What else could you do in Dark Magician? This is your end board card. What can you do? It's the most powerful card in Yugi right now. 1 Dark Magicians. This is obviously the keeper of Secrets of Dark Magic, because we're playing a lot of spellcasters and obviously playing Dark Magician. Elder Entity Entis because the Punishment. Red Ice Flare Metal Dragon. I don't know why this card always seems to feature in my decks, but I love the card. I really love the card. It's such a cool effect. 2 E1 Illusion Magician. Obviously we're playing level 7, so we're going to play Red Ice Flare and E1 Illusion because we can special summon Red Ice and we can special summon Dark Magician. And playing 1 Underworld Goddess for Closed World. Doesn't often come up, but can come up. And obviously it's not one of my decks if this card isn't in the extra deck. And then obviously we're playing the Access Code Talker, Nightmare Unicorn, Nightmare Phoenix, IP Masquerader, and 2 Verta Anaconda for Red Ice Fusion. But yeah, this is the deck list for the Amazement Dark Magician. Let's kick off into some games and I'll show you what the deck's capable of. So guys, let's move over into some games then, shall we? We're going to be playing, looks like to be Agents, so it's going to be Power Shaft, and this new card that's coming out in Order of Majesty as well, with the Protector card, which is really cool for Fairy support. So we're going into Mystical Shine Ball, we'll go into the Agent there, and then we'll go into the Power Shaft link, getting Krista to hand as well. We're going into Appaloosa. You see in our hand we've set a load of traps, activate Amazement time ticket, getting our Lakino to hand. We'll pass turn there because our trap setup is going to be the key here. We'll activate Punishment here, send me Appaloosa, and we'll get rid of this entry in the sky at the same time, activating our Arlecchino to special summon it to the field. We'll then trigger their agent to get rid of our Arlecchino. We'll hit them with a Horror House. So you go into main phase 2, end in turn. From here, we'll activate Family Faces as well, getting the agent onto our side of the field. Dealing 2300 damage. We've got a right situation here. We'll go into Major Hyperion, we'll activate Horror House and negate the effects of an opponent's monster. So their effect will not be happening. We'll try and trigger it again, not getting anything. We'll activate Sanctuary in the Star here. And from there we should be in alright here. So we'll set Punishment again. We'll attack over, obviously we can't deal any damage because Sanctuary in the Sky is on the field. They'll draw into Chaos Valkyrie, but we'll go into Hyperion here again and we'll activate Horror House again, negating the effect. This card's really cool, being able to use it all the time. There we see Chaos Valkyrie. We're going to Punishment here, and we'll pop the whole board again. And then we're doing alright here. We'll activate Magical Circle, getting Dark Magician to hand, and we'll punch for 2300. We're under 1 turn clock right now. From here, we'll get Hyperion out. We'll get Krista out onto the field as well, which is not good for us. We'll negate the effect of a Krista though. We'll head into battle. They'll attack Lever Agent and deal with 2100. Puts us on a bit of a timer here though, but that's alright because we draw into Comica as well, so we'll set a Horror House, preparing for the next turn because we've got a bit of a game plan here. We'll go ahead straight to battle. We'll Horror House to get with Krista, and then when we're on a second attack declaration, we'll hit Family Faces to get Krista onto our side of the field, meaning that we're in a situation now where we can just attack over and hit in main phase 2. We're on a 1 turn clock. Can we do anything for him and not be special summon? No, they cannot. Claiming the game. Going into the second game now as well. We're playing, looks like Crystal Beast. Obviously we set similar setup to last time, but this time with Comica setting 3 Eternal Soul, Punishment, I think, and a Attraction Trap. We'll obviously set up with Sapphire Pegasus. We'll hit Horror House here, and Eternal Soul. Trigger Eternal Soul we don't need to trigger, but Horror House here to flip the Sapphire Pegasus face down. Arlecchino comes out onto the field as well. We'll Crystal Master and then Crystal Beacon. Getting Sapphire Pegasus out onto the field now, activating the effect. Getting a extra into the spell and trap zone, but that's okay, it doesn't matter to us right now. We'll see we're drawing to Magician Souls here, sending Dark Magician to the grave, getting Souls out, getting activating Soul Servant and Eternal Soul here, getting the Dark Magician. We'll put Palladium Oracle Mahad on top, and we'll draw it as well, getting it, and we'll banish Arlecchino, getting rid of the Rainbow Ruins, but we'll go into Red Ice Flare Metal Dragon, going into Verta Anaconda as well, sending Red Eye Fusion of course, going into Dragoon here, activating Dragoon, popping the Sapphire Pegasus, popping the face down as well, dealing so much damage, getting Eternal Soul as well. They'll half all of our attacks, but that's alright, because we do not need to worry about that. So we're heading into third game. playing Numeron this time. It gets ashed on our Dark Magical Circle, but that's alright. We've got Red Ice Fusion. Going into Red Ice Fusion here, that's really cool because obviously the ash would have hit our Red Ice Fusion. We've got options here. Cosmic Cyclo comes down, hits our Dark Magic Circle. We'll activate Numeron Wall, get a Numeron Network. We'll activate Desires as well. We'll get Eternal Soul flipped and special summon a Dark Magician to our side of the field here. Obviously, we're going to go into the 4, which can be a bit annoying to deal with because obviously we keep getting it. We'll activate Punishment and Cyclo Coaster here though. We'll get Entis as well. We'll activate the Schoolmaster on our Entis, puts us in a bit of a pit situation, but we'll get Arlecchino to hand. The reason we've done this is because, you know, we keep getting their extra attack, and eventually we will negate it with Dragoon so that they cannot hit over our Dragoon the next turn. We go into Phoenix, we'll pop Eternal Soul obviously to get rid of our Dark Magician here, but that's alright for us now because Dragoon doesn't get popped. We get drawn to Skill Drain, but that's alright. We'll pop the Phoenix and we'll deal 4,000 damage with Dragoon, and that will be game. Looks like on this one playing Trickstar. We'll go into Extravagance here, obviously drawing the 2, and then we'll set 4, and I think we'll activate the effects here. A present card and Reincarnation, discarding all our hand, dealing burn damage, and then discarding all our hand again, dealing more burn damage. But that's right, we'll activate Soul Servant and we'll get Arlecchino onto the field here. We'll pop Oracle Mahad back into our top of the deck. We'll get a Dark Magician here, activate Soul Servant, draw into a Skill Drain, activate an Arlecchino here, and they'll pop their own card to save it. Head into the battle, we will deal a 4600, putting them on a 1-turn clock here for what we've got on the field. We've got an Honest in hand though, which could cause issues. We'll activate Canada, but we'll try and chain Arlecchino to send an Attraction Trap, but they'll swap out, of course, blocking us from doing that. We'll activate Punishment here though. We're getting the Enters, we'll pop the back row its present card, but they'll of course activate Reincarnation again to get us 5 cards in hand, but we'll activate Skill Drain here. We'll Honest us, but Skill Drain is going to be pretty key for us here because we can just activate Time Ticket, getting into Arlecchino. Well, that doesn't matter because obviously he's got it on hand. But it's alright because we've Magician's Soul here is really cool because you can just special summon with Dark Magician. That's enough damage on board now because of Skill Drain, and it's easy as that. Skill Drain's powerhouse of a card right now. It looks like we're playing some sort of shark deck here. So activate Time Tick and get Arlecchino. It's set an Eternal Soul. Activate an Illusion Magician to get into a Dark Magician to hand. Get in Comica as well. Going into Verta Anaconda, of course. Going straight into Dragoon from the get-go. And we've got Arlecchino in hand as a setup for their turn. So they'll hit Double Fin Shark and the Stingray. Go into sight on Arc and activate an Exceed Import. We'll hit a Horror House here and an Eternal Soul here. Getting a Dark Magician out onto the field from our graveyard. And we will activate Arlecchino as well, but we'll also pop the Silent Honor Arc as well. Going into the end phase, it's pretty much game from here, isn't it? Eternal Soul, we'll special summon a Dark Magician here. We'll go into Red Ice Flare, we'll activate Red Ice Flare, special summon in a Red Ice, and then we'll go into an E1 High Magician as well, just for a little bit of spice. And that will be gained. OTK there, doesn't often come up, but when it does, it seems alright. We're in Ancient Warriors here, and they'll pass the first turn, heading towards. Obviously, Ancient Warriors always want to go second. One of the only going second decks right now, but we'll go into Rod and Souls, which is going to be good enough for now because we've got Eternal Soul set. So we'll see a little bit of play here. Eternal Soul getting into our Dark Magician here, and of course, when that happens, we can use Dark Magical Circle to pop the back row. We'll also hit a Horror House on their Dark Magician, Ancient Warrior Sun Moi, and then we'll get into Family Faces to get him a card to hand. We'll activate Tenki, we'll activate Secrets of Dark Magic here. We'll go into the Dark Magicians, and then when we activate their spell, we'll draw a card, and we'll set it. It was Punishment, which is really cool for us. That's a great card. Obviously, we'll go into the Tri-Brigade place here, and we know we need to hit the Chaos. Activating Punishment here to get rid of all their cards, and bang, surrendered there and then. Not much they could do about that. Playing Atignista in this deck, they'll ash our Time Ticket, which does cause us issues. We've got Family Faces, Horror House, and a Skill Drain, which is going to be incredible because Atignista can't do anything under Skill Drain at all and leaves us with a open field most of the time. We've seen Magician's Souls here. We'll send the Dark Magician. Obviously, we'll summon the Dark Magician. We'll head into the battle. We'll hit over 2,000. We've got Raigeki in hand, which causes a little bit of issue here. As we see there, they'll activate Silent Mine and going into another Atignista here. The yellow, and then we'll activate Horror House. It'll deal 1,200, but we're on a clock now because we've got Magical Circle Ball. We'll activate Family Faces as well, getting the card to our side of the field, giving it 500 extra attack as well, dealing 1,700, and if they can't find an out to skill drain, they're in trouble. They cannot. We have won the game there. Going into this game as well, playing looks like water, maybe even frogs. Activate Magician Souls here, getting it onto the field. Activate Soul Servant, obviously we'll Palladium Oracle Mahad as well. Getting it onto the field as well there. Getting Rod out onto the field. Getting a Secrets of Dragon Magic. Going into Verti Anaconda. Send a Red Eyes Fusion. Get Dragoon out onto the field. Great board. This is what we like to see. See what we go for. We'll activate Mermail here. And Atlantean. We'll chain the Dragoon here because we've got Eternal Soul, so it doesn't really matter too much to us here. Getting a Dark Magician out now. They'll go into their play. We'll activate Magician's Rod, get Magician's Rod back to our hand. We've done this for the fact we can fusion summon extra to get another Dragoon out, so we can have an extra negate here. So now it's just baiting out when we want to do it and how we want to do it, because we've managed to get another Dragoon out on the field. We go into Hulk, and that is the point we will say no, no, no. We do not want to see Hulk. We're going to Swap Frog, get sending a Ronin Soden. We'll go into a Mermail here. We'll hit over our Verti Anaconda, but I'm not sure that's going to do it for you. Going to a activating a Dragoon here to pop it. Activating Time Ticket as well here, getting Comica. Getting Dark Magician out into the field as well with Eternal Soul. Popping it with Dragoon. We'll get into another with Dragoons. Activating Comica now. Getting Cyclo Coaster, going to battle. And from here, there's not much. Well, we've got 1,000 life points. What can we do? What can we do from here? Activating Ronin Soden, getting Ronin Soden out to field, going into an enemy. We'll activate Cyclo Coaster, target me an enemy. We're going to Hulk, and they from there cannot do much at all. So that would be the end of their game for that. But yeah, that was the end of the games, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Let's kick off the strengths and weaknesses. As in the last episode here, Dark Magician, of course. What else could the last episode be of this little mini-series of Yugi's legendary decks? So we're going to cover the strengths and weaknesses like we do in every episode. I'll talk you through it, how I think the deck's performed, and we'll kick off into it. Going into the strengths, obviously Dragoon is incredible. What a card. I mean, it's just the card that everyone, as soon as it hits the field, everyone has to think about their out to the card. And in this deck it performs really well because obviously we can just turbo into Dragoon straight away. We've got Apprentice Illusion Magician, Arlecchino, and all the Magician Souls that can special summon themselves onto the field. Really cool. Amazement Family Faces is such a cool card with interaction, allowing you to almost get 2 bits of interaction, obviously because you can steal the card, but also if you've got Horror House equipped to it, you can negate the effects of opponent's monsters, so that's a really cool card. The deck's built up to grind games. Obviously it won't OTK, but having all the traps set up, you can easily slow down the game. Activate Skill Drain will put the game state to a minimum, and you've got enough beaters in your deck to be able to cover that. Amazement do have a lot of potential. Arlecchino, Comica, and the traps have the potential to become really key in the meta, I think. With a few more cards being released, I think they could be really good. Arlecchino has some really cool interaction. I like the idea of how it special summons itself with activation of traps. It's a really weird way, but it's also really cool. Has a lot of potential there, obviously in trap heavy builds, like with obviously like Dogmatica, like with Ecclesia and stuff. I think Amazement Dogmatica could be an interesting situation. Obviously we can board clear. We've got Dragoon, we've got Arlecchino, Horror House, Family Faces. All these cards can have built-in destruction or are able to clear our opponent's board. So we're able to do that really quickly. I've talked about Arlecchino. Arlecchino is such a cool card. Great stats, great level, even great type. The card's going to be really, really cool. I really enjoy the card. Probably the best card in the deck. Obviously the trap options we played in the deck were just to show off the Amazement traps, but there are so many trap options because you don't really need a lot of Amazement traps. I'd go with Horror House and Cyclo Coaster, and then maybe the new release is coming out soon. But as it stands, you can play loads of traps, and Skill Drain is a powerhouse in this deck. Having Arlecchino and Dark Magician being able to come out onto the field with Eternal Soul and Arlecchino's special summon effect means that Skill Drain doesn't really affect us, and we can just put our opponent on an absolute clock and just beat them down slowly but surely, get in the game. However, weaknesses in the deck, it is Brick City. If you drew Dark Magician, Red Eyes Fusion, it becomes interesting. Sometimes you're not going to be able to play. Obviously, you can have a lot of traps in the deck, so you've always got some interaction. There's always a way of getting rid of cards, like with Punishment and Entis, but the deck is liable to brick. Obviously, one of the main strengths of Dragoon is crazy, but one of the weaknesses is Dragoon is really boring. No one really wants to see a Dragoon Turbo, but this is what the deck does, and it's really good at doing it. And Dragoon is such a crazy card, but it is a little bit boring. And that's why the combo is, we've got a linear combo. There's only real one combo to get to Dragoon with Souls, Apprentice, Illusion, Magician's Rod. Obviously, your end goal is to get Verte Anaconda, getting his Dragoon. A little bit boring, a little bit linear. If it can stop Verte Anaconda, you're going to struggle with the deck, unless you've got a trap set up. But yeah, that's one of the major issues. It does struggle to break boards. Obviously, we're getting Dragoon out. But if we're going second, having our traps set up, we almost have to go. We always have to wait for our opponent's turn to be able to break the board because we need to activate our traps. And obviously, a lot of decks right now aren't really having these Omni negates, but having like monster negates like Appaloosa and stuff, which the deck does not mind. As you've shown, we beat the Appaloosa really easily because we don't need to use monster effects to get around it. But it does struggle to break board. Obviously, there's no hand traps. I think there's room for hand traps. I don't think this is the strongest build of Amazement with Dark Magician. I think the stronger build could be Dogmatica, which would create more room for hand traps. The weaknesses. Rapid Racing isn't great on the traps. I think there's a better package to be played here. Maybe with the new releases coming out in Dawn of Majesty in maybe like 2 weeks, I think there could be better traps in there. But yeah, I think there's better options. And it struggles against Battery Destruction. Obviously, Eternal Soul will destroy all the monsters unless it's Dragoon, because it can't be destroyed that way. But if you see like a Feather Duster, Twin Twisters, Cosmic Cyclone, the deck's going to struggle because it can't deal with that back row destruction. But yeah, this has been our final episode of Yugi's Legendary Deck series, guys. Hope you've enjoyed the series. We'll kick off some different types of videos now. But yeah, thanks for guys watching. Hope you've enjoyed the series. Subscribe if you're not, and I'll catch you all later.